right, so we're gonna get started in a moment, and I should say not but. So over in the corner is the Trauma and Resiliency Initiative team, Karen and Angela. Today is Day of Forgiveness in Champaign County. Did everybody know that? Now we do. Today is the Day of Forgiveness in Champaign County, featuring Dr. Tony Davis here from LA. He's been adjusting to the time and the weather ever since I picked him up yesterday. But our friends over there at Try, Karen's always schooling us, so they have a forgiveness table over there. And there's a number of different activities, ways to measure your forgiveness. You see on your chair our forgiveness document. So it helps you think about forgiveness maybe in a new and different way, an intentional way. There's, again, as Try and Karen always does, there's resources for you to read, learn more about. There are quotes. There are different descriptions of what forgiveness is or what it is not. So we've got a little school lesson today. But it's really been a very, very powerful day. So Dr. Davis will be here shortly. We are showing his movie tonight at 6 p.m. at Pilgrim Church, 1310 North 6th Street. His story is incredible, and we'll get a chance to hear from him in a few moments. So please go by the Try table and get some information on forgiveness. All right, so another round of applause, everyone. Okay, so we are going to bring our law enforcement leadership up. This is an important part of our work. And they're going to talk about their successes and celebrate themselves and our great law enforcement that we have. So let's give them a round of applause as they come up.
First slide. Well, happy holidays, community members. It's been great, right? And we're gonna get better. So this first slide right here, we're just gonna update what's been going on. I just want you all to remember that these are the stats up to November 30th. Next slide. So, nope, go back. So with personnel, this year we have hired 15 new employees, 10 of them are new officers, and 5 professional staff. We continue to fill our vacancies with the new marketing and branding program. We have over 1,300 entries that came in that we're continuously to fill. Have anybody ever heard of MedCat 911? Yeah, so they're looking for telecommunicators. Great job, City of Champaign employees. If you know anyone that's interested in that job, please encourage them to apply. Next slide. So here's our operations. Thus far, November 30th, we've taken over 41,000 calls for service. We have seized 105 unlawful firearms. Now that is a major reduction from last year this time, which is, to me, is a great sign because that means there are less guns on the streets. When I first got here in June 2020, we finished the year with 236 illegal weapons. So we have gotten a lot of weapons off the streets. We've only had, which is bad, but we've had 63 reports of gun violence. Again, we're seeing a reduction in violent crime. What you're gonna see next year, because we're gonna get better, is gonna be even lower. So you're not gonna see the 49%. As you can see from 2021, we've had a 73% decrease of violent crime, which is saying that everything we're doing in this room is working. We've had 5 homicides, 4 to gun violence, 1 to a stabbing, and all 5 are in custody waiting to receive their due process through the criminal justice system. Engagements. Now, I don't mean to embarrass anyone, but Joe, could you please stand up, please? Joe Lamberson is, and I'm just going to say it publicly. Joe, you are an amazing human being, great employee, a great friend. A lot of the stats that you see up there regarding our community engagement hours, that's you, and I'm not going to take that away. So I really, really appreciate your leadership. So you saw the stats in operation, but what we're truly serious about with the Champaign Police Department has been a community of one. If you need us for anything, you need us to show up for an engagement, give us a call. Okay, we'll be there. 298% increase from 2020. We've opened our house up, our police house, community police academy, stuffed the squad, which the sheriff won, congratulations. And National Night Out and CPD tours and presentations, working with different youth groups. Community first. That's our motto with the Champaign Police Department. Next slide. Okay, the way forward. We're going to continue to recruit. Only have 18 vacancies left. They should be all full by this year. So if you know someone that want to work for the Champaign Police Department, I got an academy going in January, May, and September. We can fill those numbers. And we're going to, right now, I have a little gap in my investigations, but we should be able to fill that by the end of 2024. Technology is real big with us. As you all know, our city council just passed our police technology increase with public safety cameras and more license plate readers. We've had over 100 successes when it comes to license plate readers. And this is what I mean by successes. Success is when someone, elderly parent, has gone missing and they're looking for them. And they can put the vehicle information into license plate readers, and we've been able to find them and get them help because of dementia and other illness like that. That's what we mean by successes, not, the run and gun. So, join our police department. Here's the deal, very transparent. That's my real phone number, that's my real email. If you call me at 10 o'clock to change a smoke detector battery, I will come. I just did it the other day. I just want to thank you all for always, making me feel like part of the community. God bless you. God bless this county, the city, the cities, and God bless the United States of America. Happy holidays.
Tim Tyler is always such a hard act to follow. I have no PowerPoint. I'm sorry. Had I known, I would have done something. I do have a full page of good news, though, so let's talk about that. So Tracy said, bring 3 to 5 things. I said, okay, great. So I have 4 divisions within the police department that I'll talk about. So that falls within the realm of 3 to 5 things. And I have multiple subpoints for each one. Does that count? Okay, good. Services Division. That's led by Lieutenant Zach Mikulik. He received the Hometown Hero Award from Light Rock 97.5 WHMS just a few weeks back. I don't know if you guys saw that or heard that. LaShonda Cunningham, some of you might or might not know from Jetty Roads Day. She received the Backbone of the Black Home Award from State Representative Carol Ammons in August. ABLE, we finished our training. It is fully implemented department-wide. That makes us the 6th agency in the state of Illinois and one of more than 350 agencies in the United States with more than 163,000 officers serving more than 97 million people in the United States. If you're not familiar with ABLE, just Google ABLE, Georgetown Law, and you'll learn more about active bystandership for law enforcement. That was one. The Investigations Division, we've had 13 shootings with injuries this year, and we have arrested 9 of those, which makes for almost a 70% clearance rate. We've had 4 homicides this year, 3 of which have been cleared either through arrest or through a determination by the State's Attorney's Office of Self-Defense, puts us at 75%. They've reviewed more than 8,600 cases through their case management process, and we're in the process of adding a full-time digital forensics specialist and criminal intelligence analyst, and we've added a half-time evidence officer. Patrol, it's all about stuff. So, cars, computers, cameras, all new. We've got a whole new fleet. We've got a whole new set of body cameras that are coming in. We've got whole new computers. I know that doesn't sound like very exciting stuff, but I'm here to tell you it makes a difference. When you don't have a computer in one of your squad cars, it really has an impact on the way we do patrol operations these days. Administration. I don't know if you guys heard this, but we hired a new chief. I'm thankful for that. His name's Larry Boone. Larry's not here today. He had another obligation. He apologizes for not being here, as does the mayor. She had something as well. He wanted to make sure that you knew that he's going to be focused on 21st century policing to include issues related to staffing, technology, and community relations. That includes strategic planning, couched in those 6 pillars of 21st century policing. That being said, some fast facts, just like Chief Tyler, we've hired 11 officers this calendar year. We've got 3 currently in PTI that are graduating on the 21st. We've got 3 in the field training program with 2 that are getting ready to get out in the next 4 to 6 weeks. And we're onboarding 4 officers within the next week or 2. That makes us full. Shocking. That will make us full with those 4 new hires. Thank you. We're very excited about that. If nobody leaves, retires, gets hurt, so on and such forth, we will have everybody operational within the next year. Okay, here's one that you haven't heard. We've remodeled 2/3 of our police department. First time since 1996. That was some really gross carpet, folks. I'm here to tell you. I've got photographic evidence. It was bad. 2 officers are going to, two command officers are going to grad school. They're going to business college. So they are going to the Geese College of Business at the University of Illinois to get a master's degree in management. And we had 2 command officers complete the Northwestern School of Police Staff and Command. Any questions? All right. Thank you.
Afternoon, everyone. I'm Pat Wade. You'll notice I don't have the uniform and the badge because I'm not a chief of police. Interim Chief Ballinger couldn't be here today. He had an obligation that wasn't particularly flexible, so you get me today. So I'll start with this. Policing is a big part of what we do at the University of Illinois, but we're the University of Illinois Division of Public Safety. We have a lot of different units that do a lot of different kinds of work. So if you look at the most common ways that people get physically hurt on our campus, physically hurt, hospitalized, or worse, you'll find that most of them are not even crime related. So 2 of those in particular that you'll hear here in a second, suicide attempts and medical emergencies. So number 1, here's our first success, and this is where I'm going with this. So in July 2023, the University of Illinois Police Department was named the CIT Department of the Year by the Illinois Law Enforcement Training and Standards Board. CIT refers to our mental health response when people are in crisis. The Department of the Year award was largely based on our rollout and expansion of our Response Evaluation and Crisis Help Initiative, or our REACH team. This is where we have trained clinical social workers paired with police officers on patrol available to respond to mental health emergencies. We have about 300, give or take, CIT cases a year, and now with our REACH team, we have social workers on scene for many of those emergencies. And don't get me wrong, CIT-trained police officers are really good at what they do in keeping people safe, but they are not career mental health professionals like the social workers are. With our REACH team, we have someone on scene qualified to do a clinical assessment, and we're finding that we're reducing unnecessary hospitalizations of people who are in mental health crisis, and also getting them paired with the resources they need in follow-up after the crisis. So that's hugely important as mental health continues to consume a larger and larger portion of our calls for service. Number 2, you remember I mentioned medical emergencies. There were 3 incidents this year where our officers, without a doubt, saved lives. 2 of those were Narcan responses, where officers administered Narcan to basically revive patients who were experiencing an opioid overdose. The other was a situation where a man at a football game suddenly fell into cardiac arrest, and 2 officers who were nearby found an AED, applied it, and saved his life, got his heart started again. These aren't any coincidence. A lot of work goes into that. So over many years, our emergency management team has been making sure that we have an adequate supply of AEDs around campus, publicly available, but also in the police officers' patrol vehicles. If you look at national studies, it's estimated that if you have an out-of-hospital cardiac arrest, your survival rate is about 10%. In the past few years, our survival rate on campus has been 86%. And that goes to the good work of our emergency management team and many others who are ready to respond in those situations. Also, access to Narcan has expanded, and thanks in large part to the public health district here and also McKinley Health Center. Our emergency management team is working right now to equip all those AED boxes with Narcan. So we're expanding access there. Yeah. Number 3, I'll call interagency cooperation. So a lot of you know that we have an intergovernmental agreement with the City of Champaign and Champaign Police Department to take reports and calls for service in what would normally be Champaign PD's territory in Campus Town. Over the first year, department-wide, we saw an increase in our calls for service more than 30%, increase in reports of about 86%. That doesn't mean there's more crime. That just means our officers and our civilian staff are doing a lot more work in that new, larger territory. But this transition, even with the additional workload, has gone very smoothly. That's thanks in large part to the work that CPD did up front to help us out with that, and the preparations that we did getting ready to take that over in October of 2022. So we're now more than a year into that, and it's gone very well. I'll end with this. You've heard me mention a few different agencies here that we worked with. I cannot emphasize how great it is to have the partnerships that we do in this community. Not only law enforcement, but all of you. Shanice is here. Shanice has worked with Urbana Schools. I mentioned public health. Many agencies. I couldn't even name them all if I tried. I talked to a lot of other campus police departments in the Big Ten. They do not have these same relationships. In fact, a lot of police departments tell us about, they may be at odds with neighboring jurisdictions or other community organizations. So to have the relationships that we do in this community is unique, and it truly is a blessing. And I thank you all for that. None of these successes that I just talked about could be possible without all of you. So thank you very much.
Hi, everybody. Tracy, I promise I'll be brief, and I won't look at you again because you'll be staring me down. So, Champaign County Sheriff Dustin Harmon. So, I just finished my 5th year as sheriff, and so I thought it was very relevant to cover some of the community engagement things we've done this last year and we've built up over the last 5 years. So, in April and September, we hosted Coffee with a Cop. Very well received. In May, we had 2 community engagement walks in Scottswood and Dobbins Downs, the 2 neighborhoods where we are likely to see a higher crime rate that the sheriff's office covers. So we went door to door, talking to neighbors, making sure they knew about Crime Stoppers and things like that. In August, we had to cancel our back-to-school barbecue this year, but we still handed out over 200 backpacks with school supplies to kids in conjunction with the school districts that the sheriff's office serves. Generally, they would have came to Savoy to pick those up in person during our back-to-school barbecue. In November, we had a food drive with Eastern Illinois Food Bank where I need to say it a second time, right? Champaign County Sheriff's Office won because we collected over 3,700 pounds of food for the Eastern Illinois Food Bank. It was all a friendly little competition. This last December, here a week or 2 ago, we held our first annual Shop with a Cop. First time the Sheriff's Office has done it on its own. We had 22 kids that we just had an amazing time on a Saturday morning at Walmart in Savoy. And we also worked with the Fraternal Order of Police Lodge to give out food vouchers to their families so they can have a nice meal on Christmas or whichever holiday they celebrate. And throughout the year, we're big supporters of Special Olympics. And so we did the polar plunge, cop on a rooftop, and the law enforcement torch run, which most of us all participate in as well. Staffing-wise, I hired 7 deputies throughout the year. In the next 3 weeks, I will swear in 5 more deputies. So we will be fully staffed at that point. And like Chief Tyler, crossing my fingers that nothing happens because it just takes one incident for that to go out the window, right? I've hired 11 correctional officers, though we still do have vacancies in that area, and I hired 4 court security officers. I'll end with this. Not to jinx ourselves, but so far this year today, we've had 12 shooting incidents that we would categorize as a shooting incident. That doesn't mean somebody was hit. And our numbers have not been that low since 2018 when we finished the year with 8. And so we're definitely on a good start. We're going to finish out the year on a good note as well. And thank you, everybody, for your support over the last 5 years. And it's great to see you again today.
Troy Daniels, Parkland College Police Chief. So Novak is a trauma-informed alternative school for Central and Centennial. And they've been remodeling their building, and we were fortunate this year to have them housed at Parkland. So I've been blessed to mentor one of the kids at Novak this year. He's 17 years old. His father was murdered when he was 13 years old. They kind of came down from Chicago, and he's just the typical kid that's at Novak. And he was saying that he was at one of the local high schools, and he just wasn't fitting in. He needed a different way to get through school. So he came to Novak. He loves Christina Mabels, the principal for Novak, and he really loves being at Parkland. One thing that has helped him at Parkland is he's been able to kind of visualize all the different things that's there. So when we meet, I get to talk to him about some of the programs that are there. He's kind of interested in media. So he's just an example of, I think, the partnership that comes from having Novak embedded at Parkland. I know there's some Unit 4 people here. I am a strong supporter of Novak being there, and I pray that the path between Unit 4 and Parkland is wide and deep and strong, and because I think there's a lot of kids at Unit 4 schools that would benefit from that partnership. So I hope that continues. The second thing I want to talk about is I just found out about the 30 by 30 initiative. What that means is that police departments try to have 30% of their workforce to be female by the year 2030. I'm happy to report that Parkland College has already surpassed that in the year 2023. We have more than 30% of our officers that are female in 2023. We were able to promote 2 sergeants this year. I have one of them here. If Sergeant Champaign Sam Penland, if she would stand up real quick for me, please, I sure would appreciate that. She was one of the 2 that we got promoted. Because of the way we promoted them, one of the sergeants, which is Sam Penland, was able to mainly focus on outreach, community outreach, and recruitment. She recruits. She's always trying to steal other people and find people and bring them in. You know, and I'm sure these chiefs right now are looking at her going, we're going after her. You watch how many of them go up and try to talk to them talk to her after this. Sam, she can speak French, Spanish, and Laotian, and she's Vietnamese and Thai. And she spent 10 years at Joliet and spent at Parkland for 5 years, so a lot of experience, and we love that in her and her ability to recruit and to do community outreach. Ben Birmingham has been able to focus on training, so he's the other sergeant we promoted. So he's been able to really increase the amount of training that we've done, including a lot more active shooter training, which we've needed. Both have finished command school this year. We are bringing in, with the help of Champaign Police, the Northwestern School of Staff and Command that will be housed at Parkland in next fall. That's like the premier school for command officers in the state of Illinois. And so there are going to be a number of agencies from the Sheriff's Office, Urbana, U of I, Champaign, Parkland that are already sending our upper command officers to that school. It's a 10-week school, 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, and it's an advanced school, and our people will be more prepared to lead when they get done with that school. I'm happy to report that Parkland is only 1 officer down from being fully staffed. As far as a campus resource officer, we named a campus resource officer this year. Her name is Jessica Alvarez. She got Mexican heritage, and she speaks fluent Spanish. Also, we are now fully staffed with all of our TCs, our full-time TCs. This year we hired an African-American who is also Alaskan Native. Her name is Sarah Locke. She came from the University of Illinois, and she is awesome, and we're very happy to have her as part of our family as well. Spring semester's coming up. You hear this all the time. January 7th is the last day to register for Parkland College. Please, if you need anyone that needs help, they need to find a path, a young person that doesn't know what to do, please send them to Parkland. We've got people to help guide them to where they can get the training and the education they need, including SWIFT program. We will pay you to go to school. We'll not only give you free education, we'll pay you money to go to school and learn a job that you can make a living wage at. And that's at Parkland. So thank you all for taking the time to be here today. Thank you, Tracy.
I'll circle back around to talk about our law enforcement team here in a moment. So when we did our interviews, introductions, we did not get a chance to meet Dr. Tony Davis here visiting us from LA. So let's give him a warm Champaign County welcome. Stand up. All right, so have a seat. All right, so we're going to take a few moments here to really talk about our year in 2023 here with the Community Coalition. So I'm going to go through as quickly as I can, and I do have a number of special recognitions. All right, so again, we have a number of new community members here today. We always meet the second Wednesday of each month here at the Holiday Inn. We just signed a new agreement. We will be here all of next year as well. Our monthly meeting is a tremendous place for building partnerships and collaboration. This is a place where if you've got that person, you heard in the introductions, folks are from all over, right? So you've got that person you've been calling and emailing and they are not responding. You can find them here at the Community Coalition meeting each month. That was supposed to be a joke. It didn't work. All right. This is a place to be educated and informed on key community issues, programs and services that are in place in our community. This is a place where you will find police here, accessible, reachable. This is a place where the positivity, the love, the challenging, the pushing, the encouraging takes place monthly. This is a place that I'm tremendously grateful for, and now adding the idea of forgiveness here at our Community Coalition meetings each month. So that's the coalition space we have created as a community. We've been talking recently, Rachel and our staff, with the city of Springfield, and I've talked to almost every city outside of Chicago that says, how do you get people to come? How do you get people in the room together? How do you get police in the same room with formerly incarcerated community members? And, one of the chiefs talked about, being at odds or having issues that we're trying to resolve. This is that place where we have the ability to address. So today we're going to celebrate us and our community. So you see here we have 5 priorities. And I haven't done this in a while, so I'll do it really quick. So our first one is police community relations. So at the core foundation of our Community Coalition is addressing police community relations. Our second is community engagement. So many of us work for governmental entities, as you heard. It's important that we get out of our spaces and get out into communities, out into neighborhoods, get to meet our residents, get to meet those that need us to be responsive to them where they are versus expecting them to come to us and come to our place. So it is no longer acceptable to say, well, nobody came and told us about this issue, right? Because I know if we're out in the neighborhoods and we're out in the community, people are going to tell us what we haven't done, what their needs are, how we strengthen their neighborhood and their community. At the core and the foundation of the Community Coalition is youth development with a tremendously intentional focus on Black youth. All of our data tells us that who's struggling the most in schools, who's struggling the most in our court systems, who's struggling the most with lack of hope and opportunity and connected to what we have to offer is Black youth. And so at the coalition, we're, unabashfully, or we're just intentional about support and service and connecting for our Black youth and their families. Community violence rose to its own priority area a number of years ago. And then we have our fifth area that we call mutual advocacy. And I just like to give the example of the homeless, right? So everyone says, you have a group like the Coalition, why are you not working on homeless? Well, we have our continuum of care. We have a number of groups that are working on homeless. So why should the Coalition take on homelessness as an issue? We should support those groups or that group that's already doing that work. So again, I'm going to go through our priority areas and look at our successes from the year. So first, let me start off police community relations. Our police departments across the board, even if the chiefs haven't been able to make it, as you saw Patrick here today, we have 100% participation in community coalition meetings every month. I want a round of applause for our law enforcement partners. It's just blowing me away as I was sitting there listening to their updates. And we used to have to say, come on, police, let's get out into the, now they're doing it, they're leading that, right? It's like you're doing and regularly, right? So again, I don't want us to take that for granted. The level of engagement and involvement all of our departments are doing in our community. So Coalition was involved in the search for Chief Boone. We've been a space where the co-responders model has been here a number of times to talk about that. I can't stress to you how progressive, how front of this issue we are in the work that's taking place in U of I Police, getting co-responders, mental health, social workers on those calls. Do you know how many communities are talking about this? How many police departments are trying to figure out how to do that? And the fact that we have a pilot model that's winning awards is worth and critical that we understand the importance of that work happening here in Champaign County through our U of I police departments. I'm excited in 2024 to see the other departments and what models we have. We have some work taking place already in each department, but I want us all by the end of 24 to have these progressive, state-of-the-art, measurable co-responder models as part of how we police in our community. So let's give our law enforcement another round of applause. So we've got some pictures just for us to see of law enforcement here out into the community. Yeah, I don't know, Chief Tyler, he talked about changing batteries, but he's everywhere, as we know, right? So next slide, please. Okay, community engagement. Again, an important work to talk about. So we've heard about our Read, Talk, and Play initiative that we did this year to get out into our community. So how many of you volunteered, went out on the walk, passing out information in Champaign-Urbana? Will you stand, please? Read, talk, and play. Look at that. All right. So Abby couldn't make it, who was the point person for that work. Want to give her shouts out and her special recognition. This is Coalition United Way, taking the lead on Read, Talk, and Play. Okay, we're getting ready for I Read, I Count. Mindy, will you stand, please? Chamber of Commerce led initiative where we're trying to get 250 volunteers out into the communities in our school districts in both Champaign and Urbana. I Read, I Count. Volunteers go into the classrooms reading with students, helping with math. a wonderful chamber initiative that the coalition partners with. All right, you see at the bottom, last February, we had what we call Black Men Reads, where we had black men in our community out in our schools reading as part of African American Read-In Day. And so a great picture at the bottom, men from all across our community in classrooms, having that visual importance of black men in the classroom, positive connectivity, and kids having a chance to see that and participate in that part of it. City of Champaign, we had all of our black men who are employees go out to Booker T. Washington School on that particular day. So next slide, please. All right, so a number of different initiatives here is one example of men reading. The woman on my far right, Centoya Brown. I don't know if you all remember, we brought her to town. Her story is phenomenal. She was in a really tough way as a youth. I think she's 13, 14 years old. The long and short of her story is she was kind of pushed into prostitution and ended up killing one of the men she was with that night, received an unbelievably long prison sentence. This was a national issue as she now has been released with a tremendous amount of advocacy work on her behalf. The system failed her, as it does far too many of our communities of color, our students, our people of color, but across the board, right? And so we brought Centoya here. We were able to get her in front of students here in our community. We partnered with the University of Illinois. She spoke in front of about 300 students on campus, and we were there with the Ready students at the terminal, and just another phenomenal day. And then up at the top, just one of our community involvement events. Next slide, please. Okay, our youth development. Man, we are just doing really, really fantastic work, celebrating our successes. You see across the top, those are our Freedom School students from Urbana that were here on a panel talking about being in the learning environment that was allowing them to succeed. Many struggled in the school, were struggling with issues, and now we have a fully functioning well-development initiative taking place in Urbana schools. Again, just pictures of our youth that we have had and are involved with. We have our Yes Summer Job Program. Next slide, please. We have our Youth Assessment Center. We try as much as possible to get our youth here. It's challenging sometimes with the time of day that we meet, but we had young students here at our coalition meeting talking about the importance of voting and registering to vote. And so, again, as much as possible, we try to bring our students here so that we, one, can demonstrate who our youth really are. If we look at what just the media does in the portrayal of black students, right, we only show and only see the negative. Far majority, most of our kids are wonderful, just needing to get connected, needing that opportunity, needing us to go out of our comfort zones to figure out how to engage with them. We were talking earlier today about social media and its impact, and so we've got to learn what we have to do to get out of our boxes to connect with our youth in new and different ways. Next slide, please. All right, so we had our Rising Stars in the spring. These are African-American students, for the most part, at 5th and 8th grade that are at grade level. Dr. Lau, when she came into Parkland, we talked early last year about getting us out from the community out to Parkland. We have one of the premier community colleges in the country. And our kids don't know enough and respect it enough to understand, because they see it as an extension of our community. That's our fault, that we allow that continue to be with the great institution that we have. So we're starting to do more and more, as Troy mentioned, the Novak students are Rising Star kids out at Parkland and involved. Down here at the bottom, Sheldon and our work with our goal-getters, that's a peace pose that young people are painting, doing partnership, working together, collaborative ideas. So we've put peace poles in Champaign and Urbana parks that have been done by go-getters, self-made king students, those that we say that we can't reach and that can't be involved. They are out doing the peace poles in our community and helping demonstrate that model. So let's come on now. So let me just take a half a step back. So Sheldon Turner, where you stand, Unit 4, go-getters, leaders. Thank you. I thought I saw Dr. Boozer make it in. Stand, please. Our superintendent in Champaign, Dr. Sheila Boozer. Troy kind of got the Parkland, and Sam got the Parkland recognition. Dr. Lyle's not here with us today. And then our Park District folks, where you stand, please. Champaign and Urbana. All right. So thank you. All right. So we also have something, and thanks to the Champaign County Mental Health Board and the Don Moore Boys and Girls Club, we have what we call our summer initiatives. This is a space where the Champaign County Mental Health Board provides us. This year was about $95,000 to do summer initiatives and projects, and we do everything from recreational activities to academic enrichment, leadership, and so this is an example. We sponsored the Lindsay Foundation football camp. We had 175 kids out participating in a football camp with U of I football players, and just a really fantastic event that we were able to do this summer. Not pictured, we were able to reestablish the Don Moore Boys and Girls Club traveling basketball team, and Dixon All-Stars is what we call them. The leader of that initiative is similar to our young lady in the front who came up as part of our programs. Jamie Gasson is his name. He was great friends with Kewan Carrington. Kind of the shooting incident with him is what started and led to the Community Coalition. So to have Jamie go off, now come back home, now providing leadership to young people is critical for our community. And just really, really proud of establishing that. We took families. We took, I think it was over 120 to White Sox games, the ones participating in first string. And so Reverend Comer's not here, but our Youth for Christ work with our basketball tournament that we have in Champaign, against Urbana, in the Garden Hills and Learman area in Urbana. I think Champaign won this year. Yeah, nobody knows. Maybe Urbana. But when we have a traveling trophy that the street ball players win. Next slide, please. All right. So DJ Slim over there came up with a new project that we were able to support that he calls Rock the Block, out in Housing Authority properties, where he went out as a DJ. We had food, we had fun, crafts, and we did those in Housing Authority properties this summer. So Dante, stand up. Thank you for your leadership in that work. All right, next slide. So our community violence, we as a community we heard the data and the reduction of our shooting incidents this year. And I just want to thank not only our law enforcement for their leadership, but our entire community. So each one of the county and both cities used their ARPA funds to address community violence. We have a number of partnerships in community with police. We're having a number of community events. We're responding to community events and through our blueprint. And we just, as a community, have really come together. I don't know if I've always said that we can't arrest our way out of our gun violence situation, and it really takes these types of partnerships and activities going forward. So I just want to really take a moment as a community, because our work isn't done, All it takes is one incident to trigger a whole bunch of response and retaliation, all of that. But this year, to have a 65%, I think, across the community reduction in our shooting incidents and gun violence is critical. And so let's give a community a round of applause for that. So next slide, please. Okay, so our mutual advocacy area is just really off the hook. I'm just so pleased with all the partnerships, collaborations that we have as a community. And it's nice to have folks come and present their work here at the Coalition and then talk about what they want to do or what they're trying to put in place. And then at the end of the year to be able to sit back and say, we got that put in place. That's now off the ground. And there are more examples than what I have today to really demonstrate that work for us as a community. And so I just want to take a couple really quick moments to think about and talk about some of the areas. So we know we have our Chancellor's Compact to address social justice. That work is fully functioning across a number of different areas: technology, housing, economic development, education, community relations. I'm sure I'm forgetting something, but we really just have those areas all functioning at a high level. You see up at the top, we have our news, brews, and beats. I think we've had 8 or 9 of those. These are community conversations, panel discussions. We were nominated for an Emmy for News, Brews, and Beats. We didn't win, but we were nominated, right? This one picture we have here, we have African-American females leading Champaign, Urbana, Danville, and Decatur school districts. We had a special show talking about education today with our wonderful leadership that we have. And you see down here at the bottom, Illinois Soul. So we know that here in our community, we don't have a black newspaper, we don't have any black radio anymore. So our ways of communicating and getting information to our black community is a challenge. I'm sorry, we just don't read the News Gazette. You know, we don't watch our local news stations as much, right? And understanding the presentation and the demonstration, we want to continue to attack that, but we also are creating a new space called Illinois Soul through WIL. So Jill Silk, please stand. So it was just announced today that we went live about Illinois Soul being created, and we expect to open the doors to our studio in February. So be ready for Illinois Soul. It's a place of national news, NPR news, local programming, just a new important vehicle to have cultural relevant communication tools and access for our black communities. So Illinois Soul, hear about it, listen, and think about it. Down at the bottom, Justin, will you stand? Justin's out there. He's leading our work on workforce development. And then my prize for the year, next slide, please. One more. We had our first conference focused on black mental health and wellness. Donna, I need you to stand for us, please. Donna Tanner Harold. We had over 130 participants. We had 180 plus register. We had all local African-American presenters presenting mental health, wellness, grief. Phenomenal conference. We probably have the pressure to come back with year 2 next year. So give Donna one more round of applause and all of the folks that really worked. So that work was done through our Race Relations Committee. So all of you that are part of our Race Relations Committee, please stand. We want more volunteers to come help tackle race. All right, so next slide. All right, so we're gonna run this clip Hopefully it works for us. So you know that we had a number of conversations about our veterans, addressing trauma, addressing support. We were able to get Stop the Violence off the ground, our conference. Thanks for the funding for this through the county board and ARPA funds. And we had an unbelievable conference. I'm so excited about our work for 2024 for our veterans and the importance of that work. So last slide. Oh, and so I didn't get to mention, we have anybody here from First Follower still? We have anyone here from the Up Center? So I just really wanted to make sure we highlighted First Followers and the work with our formerly incarcerated population, the tremendous work they're doing, and really wanted to acknowledge the Up Center and the work they're doing for LGBTQ plus populations. And so the Up Center regularly is here to talk about opportunities to work with our population. So let's give them a round of applause for their work. Okay, so next slide. All right, so Coalition 2024. We're gonna take on this issue of health and fentanyl and opioids and really look at as a community how we come together to address this issue. I personally have lost 2 friends I grew up with in the last 6 months who are individuals who've been struggling with addiction for a significant amount of time. And so we don't know, we aren't informed, we're very ignorant about the impact of opioids and fentanyl and how it's playing out. Rich has led that work for us in creating conversation, and Julie. So we're gonna come together as a community to really take this on in 2024. We're gonna focus on academic achievement and attendance across school districts, across our community. Parent and family involvement are really gonna be a focus of our community. Black mental health and wellness, our Illinois Soul launch and building that part out. Minority and women-owned business development has to be critical to our growth, right? We can't talk about 75% of our black community is considered low income. That really has to be something that is unacceptable anymore going forward. So we have to address that. Continuing our community engagement events, continuing to support our police and work with them. I mentioned Justin in the workforce development, the Chancellor's Compact, and then our Stop the Violence work for veterans. So those are our coalition priorities going into 2024. One of the things I forgot to mention is, so Sean, will you stand please? So that's Sean Williams. So you remember the kids we had here from our Wall Street Jewelers initiative, right? Teaching kids about finances, stocks. So just thank you for that work that you're doing. We're gonna be fully investing in supporting that work to help our young kids understand about the importance of the financial world, and Sean and them have kicked that off in a really, really important way. Okay, Dr. Davis, if you will come up here, please. You have the other mic. All right, so, have a seat. Yeah, so at 6 o'clock, we're gonna be showing your film. So do the 30-second spiel on I Forgive, and tell a little bit about your story to this audience.
30 seconds. Want you to vote now? Yeah. Okay, so in 2003, I was on my way to pick up my wife from work in Los Angeles. I was attacked by gang members. They shot me 5 times, leaving 10 bullet holes through my body. I died for 30 minutes, and I had an out-of-body experience. From that experience, I had to learn to forgive. In order to receive healing in my body, my mind, my spirit, I had to forgive. From that, I penned a book in 2005 called Heaven is Real, and here we are now. We just finished up a film called I Forgive. So the film shows how I was attacked, how it was done, how kids are lured into being a part of gang life, even females. And so it shows just all those things all the way down to how I had to forgive in order to receive healing. And so it's a great, powerful film that shows triumph over tragedy. No matter what came in my life, everyone can do the same. All right.
So if you look on, where are we at, Kellen? No. For our giveaway, the tape. Yes. Okay, so if you look behind your chair at the top, and if you see a piece of tape or have a piece of tape on your chair, you are a recipient of Dr. Davis's book that we have a copy of for you, and we can get him to sign it. Has anybody found some? All right, Jennifer, all right. Anyone else find a little tape on their chair? Chief Daniels, all right. And we should have one more. All right, better. All right, well, cool. I think that's it. So you and Joby can arm wrestle over it. All right. Yeah, that was your caseworker seat there. So we do have a trailer for the movie, and let's try to see if that connects and plays for us.
You lost parents, and I lost a daughter. I know how it feels. But you ain't gonna fill that void running out in these streets with these boys.
Lord knows I need to change my life. Mama, pray for me.
Because of peer pressure, and loneliness, and all of that we could talk about, most of these guys succumb to joining gangs.
I told you the state's cutting all the programs. The budget is tight.
Okay, when is it not tight?
I know, Tony, but
Man, look, I don't need your butts, okay? I've been busting my back and giving my all to this company.
Tony, that's my jam.
Not in this office. That's Mr. Tony to you, okay? And I told you about coming in here looking like a fool, okay? Man.
look, we work in LA in a nonprofit. What we can do is fire some of them handicapped workers.
No, look. Do not fire the workers.
Tony, this is my image. This is who I am.
You ever thought about just being you?
It's kind of deep, Tony.
Just be you, all right?
You be a minister.
I'm not gonna be a minister. I just want you to be you, okay? I need this for my family.
Money is tight, okay? The other job will pay more.
Look, I'm making an impact over there, okay? Not to mention if I wait a little while, funding will be coming down from the state. It'll be good.
Them laptops and stereos ain't nothing. Give us a better lick so we can get in.
I believe that it's twofold. There's a spiritual side, and then there's also a natural side.
Hey, girl, go give young cuz a little shit.
Scarcity of help, support, etc., etc.
We calling the crew, cuz we're gonna ride. Y'all finna go scout.
And because of that, many of these gang bangers preys on our young children.
Hey, what's all that?
I'm praying.
Shut up! You wasn't saying all that before you joined the circle.
When I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child. I thought.
Man, that ain't him.
But when I became a man,
In the name of Jesus, you are not gonna shoot me.
I put away childish things.
Don't know what I do. If he came tonight.
Here he is right here, Dr. Tony Davis. So we hope if your schedule allows, you can make it over to Pilgrim Church, but we do know that it's on Hulu, Prime, Tubi, it's everywhere. I Forgive. So this is the gentleman the movie is for. Tremendous story. So we hope you can make it out to Pilgrim Church tonight in a few moments. And if not, please check out the film. Day of Forgiveness here in Champaign County. We've had a phenomenal day traveling throughout, and I just want to thank him for coming to our community to spread this message of forgiveness. Check out your handouts. Please enjoy your time, holiday time. Hopefully all of us will get a little time off. I know I need it. And look forward to just coming back to work in 2024 in January, getting to work here at the Community Coalition. Thank you. Peace and love to all of you, and thank you for what you do to make our community be the best it can be.